What about you? Here's a Vauxhall Corsa 1.2. There's a Corsa D. And let me see, customer complaint. We'll turn the ignition on. Run her up. And the fan comes on more or less immediately. And we get a warning light. So that's that warning light there. It's not the engine management light, which is the one to the left of there. So we've quickly verified the customer complaint, and yeah, there's a management light on of sorts, and the fan runs all the time. So I asked him, has the car been overheated? Is there any problems with the coolant or whatever? You know, why is the fan coming on? But he also explained to him that, you know, it doesn't necessarily maybe mean that there's something wrong with the cooling system in this car. The fan's just running because, you know, the car doesn't like something. So it's a fail-safe strategy, you know, so it doesn't know what's going on. It's not getting some sort of input, so therefore it goes into like a safe strategy by putting the fan on full speed, because there's some sort of piece of information that's missing. However, we've got a bit of a backstory from the customer. This one, it sounds a wee bit mad, but you know, some of the things they tell you, you know, they're telling you this stuff out of their basic knowledge, or, you know, there's other people involved. I think the guy's son or somebody else was driving this car, the guy that dropped it off, and it's now his car. They've bought the car off the youngster. So there's other people involved, so he doesn't really know what the crack is and what other people did and all that stuff. So anyway, I asked them, right, what happened? So this car was in another country. It was in England or Scotland or somewhere. And they took it to another garage. And apparently, according to the story, they replaced this radiator cap. Now, for reasons I don't know, but I can see staining of coolant in around these electrical plugs, and if I look down in, you might be able to see it, but take my word for it, there's coolant staining in around all down here where it's been coming out of this, you know. So apparently the other guy replaced this radiator cap. Now, somewhere along the line, apparently the radiator cap or expansion bottle cap got broken or something. I don't know. And then the guy that now owns the car bought this radiator cap or expansion bottle cap. You know what I mean, anyway. So whenever the car came to me, I just says, right, okay, dead on, and it doesn't tighten. So this is a pressurized system. This car runs about 103 degrees centigrade, which is over the boiling point of water. And it's able to do that because it runs at a pressure of probably about 1.1 bar or something like that. So just over a bar. And sure shooting on the radiator cap, we'll screw it off. The radiator cap that doesn't tighten down, it does have 20 psi written on it there. So 140 kPa or 20 psi. Now that's referring to the blow off pressure. There's a wee pressure relief valve in here. So these aren't just caps. This is a pressure relief valve in here, and you know, so if it over pressurizes, then it goes out that overflow, which in these cars is in a really, really bad spot, because it's right beside the ECU electrical connectors. So you get really hot water. So whenever the coolant goes from being pressurized, which is over atmospheric pressure, and then all of a sudden it gets exposed to ordinary atmospheric pressure, so exposed to the atmosphere, that's when you get that sort of explosion where it has room to expand. Then the coolant blows off, and you see that's why people, when they take these off quickly, they maybe get their hands scalded or whatever, and there's all sorts of warnings to that effect on these caps. So pressurized system. So this is what we need to understand. So these cars run dead warm for economy. So anyway, this radiator cap, or I keep calling it a radiator cap, but you know what I mean, is clearly no good because it doesn't tighten down. Now on inspection it looks okay, and these threads here look okay. So what I told them was, go to the main dealer and get yourself a new cap. They're not that dear. Now I think that cap, genuine part, was a tenner. So then you'll know, do you need a new bottle if these threads are wrecked? Doesn't look maybe the best or whatever. There's something clearly not right here between this cap, but the cheaper option is to try a new cap. So we get a new cap, genuine part, looks identical. Okay, there's a line here on this one, but it certainly looks the same, so yeah, okay. Well, anyway, here we go, and right away fits perfectly. So that's one problem solved. So why is the radiator fan not coming on then? Right, well, how are we looking at OBD first of all? So on the OBD side of things, no fault codes detected. So if you had an ordinary wee cheap code reader or whatever, it wouldn't tell you anything on this car. So we'll go on the Vauxhall side of things and we'll do a scan. Right, there's a whole stack codes there, and yeah, what we're interested in as well, the engine, of course. So see what that's got to say for itself. Read codes. Thermostat, heater, control circuit, open, present. So that's a permanent code, and the OBD didn't show anything. The OBD2, the generic one. So now we'll have a bit of direction. We'll focus our attention on that, and we'll just maybe have a wee quick Jeffrey at these other ones. There may be a lot of voltage codes in this because I noticed this battery was a bit bad when we're doing this scan. You may notice the voltage in the top right there is 13.51 volts. This car is on battery support, and what did I have in there? Yeah, battery control module I wanted. License plate light, wrong bulb identified. So, okay. We're not really interested in the rest of them, exterior lighting and all there, interior lighting, so there's probably LED bulbs put in this thing. But anyway, okay, thermostat. So the thermostat's there. There's a plug on it. So it's electronically controlled. So we'll just take this our intake off, like you see it. So the car running, we'll do a couple of quick tests here. Disconnect that. Our test light is on battery negative at the minute. Nothing there. And we're getting power there. So I'm happy enough to use a test light in this circumstance because, you know, this thermostat, this is a heater, so these wires are controlling a heater, so there is a load on this. So this load here, the test light, is a load. So it's testing our wiring, you know, so it's capable of taking the inrush of the test light plus whatever the test light is taking. So this is a ground, this is our positive. So what we'll do is we'll change our test light to the positive terminal. Just doing that now. And we'll see, make sure we'll have a ground. So we've nothing there, and there's our ground. So pretty happy with the wiring. A quick resistance check at the component, and well, it's completely open circuit there, and you thought we got some sort of resistance on it, and you'd nearly think it wasn't on it at all. So we'll just pull the two pins out and touch these together just to be sure. Yeah, and we're definitely on. So that's why it was a permanent code. This thing is completely open circuit. So, okay, need a thermostat. Simple as that. So I have a replacement thermostat, Mal, who is an OE manufacturer, and there's the part number there. If you're interested, if you need to know a part number, we'll grab that out. One thing I noticed with this one, if you can see the branding has been buffed off it. You see that? So I think that's actually an OE one, and Mal will have their own sticker on it. But we'll do the same test in this new component just for a giggle to see what it's supposed to be, and we'll make sure we're on. So when you get an open circuit reading, you wonder whether your leads are good, and you're actually on circuit. Okay. So we're getting 15 ohms. So yeah, that's what I would expect for some sort of component like that. 15 to 20 ohms, something like that. Right, so we've got a replacement unit, so we're going to change this. What I've noticed is that this doesn't appear to be home. This clip isn't really clicked in. It's just moving about. And you can see that sort of rib there. That should be in further than that. But anyway, okay, hopefully that won't cause us too much grief. So clearly somebody's been here before, you know. We'll just unclip that. Need a wee screwdriver for that. Still not coming. Just get those wires out of the way there. Tuck them up in there, out of the way. I don't want to cover them coolant. There's not much really. Well, I don't think we'll get coolant on any of these plugs, but that's fine. So I have the car raised up a wee bit, and I have a big tray underneath there. I still have the new cap on the expansion bottle, so that'll help, but you know, that'll stop the coolant from just falling out of it. And I could drain the radiator, I suppose, but you know, I'm just going to drain it with this hose basically. And yeah, you see the way the clip is clipped in now. So I'm going to, whatever coolant is required, I'm just going to put new stuff in it. I'm not going to do a complete coolant change, but this coolant's been cooked, I think, so well, it'll probably drain the radiator, most of it anyway. So he's going to get a brave drop of new coolant out of this. I'll just get that down in there. out of the way, and hopefully it's not going all over the floor, because I hate getting coolant in my hands. So, what is this? An E10, I think it is. E10 Torx, inverted Torx. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just give the surface a bit of a clean with some light grit emery cloth. You don't need to really, unless it's really bad, you know, or it was leaking or something. You don't really go mad, but just get the oxidization layer off it, because there's a good rubber seal on them. What happens in these thermostats sometimes, if your car's not getting warm at all, is these wee plastic tabs break, and then the thermostat sits open permanently, you know. So some of the cheap aftermarket brands or whatever, those plastics, the plastics just aren't up to the heat capability. So I've seen that before, but yeah, we clearly have just the heater that's in this. So the PCM commands this and when it's required, the heat, and that then compresses that spring and opens the thermostat. It's not the actual heat of the coolant. So it may open with the heat of the coolant slightly, and that's why this car wasn't overheating. So well, we don't believe it was overheating. There was no reports of it overheating. So it may be opening with the heat of the coolant itself, and you know, but it just, the ECU cannot command it because the heater is open circuit. So we'll go ahead and fit a new one. You can't really go wrong, because these three holes are offset, you know, so it's not it's triangular shaped, but I don't think it'll fit any other way to the way that it's supposed to go. And clearly your multi-plug's facing up, so you can't really go wrong. And you just tighten them down evenly. So that's a common sense Torx back there. So we'll just grab our hose from where we put it out of the way down there. See if we can get it out. And see, this wasn't seated properly, so just interested in having a look at it. Seems to be okay though. So what we'll do is we'll give it a squirt. We'll give this whole body here a squirt with a rubber friendly sort of lubricant. Just help it go on, you know. And you can see it sitting in place far better than it was the last time. Perfect. So what do we do now? Just put our plugs in. Where does that one go? That one there. That way around, like that. Okay, we'll just get some coolant in her. So I'm going to use one of these fancy fill phones here. I'm putting G30 into it. So now, you don't have to use one of these fancy fill phones if you haven't got one. This is just for speed. So, you know, whenever I run this car and whenever it idles, you know, the coolant's going to expand as it heats up. So the idea of this funnel is so that the coolant has somewhere to go. So it'll come back up again. It'll rise way up. But if you're using an ordinary funnel, you know, what you need to do is get as much coolant into it as you can, really, and let her idle, you know, and then let her cool down. And I'm going to let that fill that up again. Let her cool down, and let her cool down a good while, and let the coolant contract again. So the coolant is going to contract again, and the level is going to drop, you know. So we use these things here for speed, really, you know. So what you need to do then is maybe let it even sit overnight, and you'll find this expansion bottle, it will be nearly empty, even though it was sort of overflowing. Whenever you had the car running, it'll then be empty. So this is the reason for this. It's purely for speed. It helps that you get the air gets out of it as the water pump circulates, and then whenever the thermostat opens and get it. So this thing will be full of air here at the minute. So whenever I took the thermostat off, the vast majority of coolant that was lost was out of the engine block. So there's no coolant in the engine block. So when me filling this up, and it'll allow the air to come back out again. So yeah, so that's the crack with that. So I buy this stuff. This is concentrated, and I mix it 50-50 with tap water. Now, if you live in an area where the water out of your tap will cause limescale on your kettles and things like that, then you might have to use distilled water. Or if you're not sure, just buy the pre-mixed stuff, and then you'll be alright. Actually, I've just realised this film isn't actually going to work in this application. So this isn't really a sealed bottle. We'll have this overflow. Now what I could do is block this overflow off. But if we look at our cap, and this is the importance of these caps, if we look closely at it, so we'll have a seal at the bottom and a seal sort of at the top of it, you know. So what happens then is if the valve opens that's in there, inside there, you just see it in the metal springs, you know, it'll allow the coolant to go up through the center and then out through those holes in the side. And where those holes at the side there of this cap correspond with that overflow there, down there. So yeah, so if this is going to expand whenever it heats up, it's just going to go out the overflow. It's not going to actually go up the funnel in this application. So this funnel is good for, you know, whenever the bottle is completely sealed, and the overflow would have a pipe on it that goes back into the engine again, like on the Volkswagens and stuff. So yeah, so basically that's just a funnel here at the minute. So I'm going to put this cap on and run her up just normally then. So we'll just start her up, and I haven't cleared the codes or anything yet. I haven't plugged the scan tool back into it again. So we'll just see if the radiator fan is going to come on again. Yeah, and our light isn't appearing, so that's good. What's that flashing? That's seatbelt light. And no fan on either. So we'll just top her up again with the engine running. Took a wee bit there, and we'll leave it at that. Get her up to temperature, and in the garage here, and take it for a bit of a run, and then we'll top her up again, and then we'll leave her for a while, let it contract, top her up. So I'm quite lucky. The guy's in no rush for this car back, so you know, so I'll probably leave it overnight and then top it up a final time, and I'll be happy enough to give him back at that stage. So okay, that's it for this one. Hope you get something out of it. And very easy job to do, easy to dag there. All you need is a wee, if you have a voltmeter there, you could test that for yourself. You know what to expect now. So many thanks for watching, and all the best.